It's Andrew Duncan here from Relatable, and today I'm going to take you through the agreement for sale and purchase of real estate. Now, this is the form that you fill in when you're buying a property that's not a tender or an auction. So this form I've got in front, this is the actual tender form. So just to show you how that's a little bit different, it's a slightly different contract. That's what you'll see most of the time, but sometimes we market properties that are not being sold by tender, in which case you'll see this form. Now, slightly different, but essentially all the same kind of information that we need to fill in. I'll take you through it. So first of all, put your full name up the top here. You've got the property specific details that should already be filled in ideally. Then you've got your purchase price. Recommend making it an uneven number just in case you're in a multiple offer situation. You want your one to be slightly above any other offer that's there ideally. Next, we've got your settlement date. So we recommend putting down a working day. Thursdays are a good day of the week, sometimes Fridays, which most people use. Lawyers can get a little bit busy, so we recommend picking a Thursday, has to be a working day. There's two options for the settlement date, so we're usually picking option number one, which is where you clearly state the date that you would like. So the next box down is conditions. So they have some set wording in this contract for if you require a LIM report and if you require a building inspection report and also a finance condition. So you can fill in the details here, tick yes or no for the LIM and builders, and for the finance condition you may not be able to see it, but I've put lender, any bank, amount required, sufficient to complete purchase, and finance date, 5 working days from acceptance. But word that however you and your lawyer would decide. For further wording on those conditions, check out clause 10 in the actual body of the contract. Now it's important to note here that while I'm taking you through this, we always recommend you run this through with your lawyer before you submit your offer. So you've got the normal small print, the normal body of the contract, which is important. So please feel free to have a good look through that. Best thing is probably to meet with your lawyer and talk it through. What you want to really watch for is that nothing's been crossed out by the vendor and their lawyer. If there has been anything crossed out, make sure you talk it through with your lawyer to get an understanding of what the repercussions are of those changes. Then you get to a page with a lot of blank space. So this is where you can insert any extra conditions that maybe aren't covered by that wording on the front page. So maybe it's a condition to ensure that the property is suitable for insurance purposes. Maybe you want to have the vendor do some work before you move in. Those kind of conditions you would list here. Contact us if you need some help with wording, but definitely your solicitor can help with that too. The top clause, which is pre-written in, that just states that we don't hold any deposit money ourselves. We use the public trust system called the NZ Real Estate Trust to look after any funds for safekeeping. So the GST schedule will only need to be filled in if it says on the front page that the vendor is GST registered. So if not, which is going to be the case most of the time, just leave that blank. If the vendor is GST registered, then always a good idea to check with your accountant or your solicitor or both to get some advice on what to watch out for. Next page, you'll see a chattels list. So just check that everything you would expect to come with the house is included there. If in doubt, if there's something that you'd like to stay and it's not listed there, just feel free to write it in. There's no harm in putting it on there. If it's an issue, we can talk to you about it when it comes to meeting with the vendor. Then you want to sign on the line here, just under signature of purchaser. You also basically want to initial anything you've written onto the contract. Anything you've added in, you want to initial next to that. On this page, if you can add your details and your lawyer's details would be great. Don't worry about all the contact details, just the name and the firm is fine. Then we'll attach a copy of the contract, the title that is. Now, if you see any easements or any weird covenants or any wording you don't understand, please talk to your solicitor before you make an offer. Always good to talk those things through first. Next, you'll see a disclosure statement. So this is a form that we work through with our clients to go through the standard things you should know when you make an offer, but also to point out any areas about the property which you should be aware of. It doesn't mean we don't necessarily have the ability to cover every problem. We still recommend doing your own diligence with builders reports and things like that, but we'll list anything that we know here, and we'd encourage you to have a good read through that and get any advice you need. Once you're happy with that, put your name and your signature down here, and we just ask to tick that you acknowledge that we've talked to you about the Overseas Investment Act and that you understand that you have permission to buy this property, of course. So if you can tick that, that would be great too. If in doubt, speak to your lawyer again. Next, you'll see the REA guide on buying property. This is really good to have a read through before you make an offer. So do take the time to have a squiz through it. It just talks you through how offering works, what to expect, and what your rights are there. So have a good read through, don't skip it over, and as I say, talk to your solicitor before you make an offer. If you have any questions, give us a call.